How long is too long to remain in a condition that you are unsatisfied with? Once you've determined that there are things in your life that are no longer acceptable to you, how long is too long to remain in that condition of dissatisfaction? I recently had a conversation with a friend and client, and we discussed how people, be it family members, co-workers, or complete strangers, she said they seem to be okay with not doing better than they are. She said that from how it looked or appeared to her, though the people in reference was not doing necessarily well, they seemed to be okay with it. Whether we're talking about one's own personal health or the health of their relationships, personal relationships, or the lack of stability financially or with a career that was promising, all of these things were absent in the people that we used to describe those individuals who were not necessarily doing what they thought would be more acceptable to their standards, but they seemed to be okay with it. Less than adequate career, less than healthy relationships, okay with their overall lack of a quality of life. And I told her, I said, don't be misled. There is a difference between accepting your condition and being okay with it. I use the example of slavery in America. Black folks were never okay with slavery. Black folks were never okay with the conditions surrounding the civil rights movement. They were not okay with it. The Jews were not okay with the atrocities related to the Holocaust. Family members who survive the tragedy of the loss of a loved one, be it accidental or of some criminal negligence, the survivors are not okay. But at some point, there's something in us as human beings, it's built in, that we learn to accept life's harsh realities, that we may continue to try to go forward. But outside of those things in life that we have no control over, there are some things that we do have direct control over, yet we do nothing about it, and we accept those things in which we can change. How long is too long to accept a condition that is less than adequate as it pertains to your overall quality of life? Now, we've been given some things that are already done for you. They're built in for your survival. It's called your autonomic nervous system and all of the processes therein. For example, your heart beats without you having to go and push a button, so to speak. Your lungs will expand and contract without you having to do anything for that process to occur. Your liver, it functions without your assistance to detoxify. Your pancreas and the production of certain hormones, these vital organs, vital for life, for survival, these things they're automatic, yet we act as though what we're being asked to do to preserve or maintain proper health, we act like those things are very difficult to the point of being too much to ask. How long do we accept less than adequate conditions for ourselves when those conditions are within our ability to change them? God forbid if we had to remember to turn on or set the clock of our hearts to continue to tick. All we're really asked to do is to not destroy the process or to challenge the process. We're supposed to eat a certain way and behave a certain way, and our level of activity it should be sufficient so that the process can continue to function optimally, this automatic built-in system. For your protection, we were given, I'm going to say, at least 6 senses, 5 of which are automatic and does not require anything of you. Your eyes, for example, your eyes are there for your protection so that you can see danger. Your nose so that you can smell if something is rotten or not suitable to be eaten. You can sense that something is, that it tastes spoiled or poisonous, and so you don't eat it. The sense of touch lets you know that something is either too hot or too cold or just doesn't feel right. It's dangerous, so you must avoid it. Then your sense of hearing. If you hear something that sounds threatening or dangerous, then you would remove yourself from that situation. And this is not limited to a train coming at you or a wild animal for that matter. But if you hear lies and deceit that challenge or compromise the quality of your life, you're supposed to be able to hear that and respond accordingly. But now there's another sense that we actually can ignore, and that is the 6th sense, which we refer to as common sense. If you know you're not in a satisfactory relationship or a state of health that is less than satisfactory, why do you ignore that common sense? I know people say, well, people don't have common sense. Well, yes, you do. You know when you don't feel good. You know when your relationships are unstable and are failing, yet we don't do anything or make any changes. And the question of the day is, why do we accept less for ourselves? And how long is too long to be in a condition or a state that is not conducive for happiness or longevity? And the fact that you hear people saying that happiness is a choice, it's not one choice that you are pretending. It's not a game of let's pretend that we're happy. And it's not one choice to say, hey, I'm going to act like I'm happy today. No, it's a series of choices that produce degrees of happiness. A consistent series of choices. It is the sum of the series of these choices that actually bring about the emotion of happiness and good health, but it has to be something that you continue to practice. How long is too long to live a life of dissatisfaction? You know, you hear me say that I'm only here to help, but I want you to know that you have to at some point help yourself in these areas. Everything else is done for you. Your heart beats on its own. Your lungs contract and expand on their own. Your brain thinks without you necessarily telling it what to think. It allows those other vital organs to function properly. Everything is already done for you. Your ability to see and hear and taste and feel. And even if you don't have the physical gift of sight, you have insight. All I'm suggesting to you is those small things that we're being asked to do to improve our quality of lives, our quality of our lives, excuse me. Can we practice those things since everything else is already built in? And as always, I want you guys to want better for yourselves and stop acting like it's okay to be in a condition that is not on the level of satisfaction for you. Make those small, little, simple changes in the way that you eat and behave and carry yourself, in the people that you choose to be in your circle, or that you allow to be in your circle, the people that you attract to your circle. You have direct control over these things, but that's the easy part, because the difficult part of life is already done for you. It's built in. I'm looking forward to hear you guys' response. I hope that this information was helpful to you. And as always, I wish you much prosperity and happiness and longevity and good health. And above all these things, many, many blessings. My name is Jay Jackson.